Today I'm ready to take down the netting that's up here and open this piece of netting up so that the chickens and turkeys for at least a couple of weeks can access that side of the field. Luckily, when we put this up, we didn't do a tremendous job of securing it, so getting it down should be quite easy. This piece of lower netting actually goes all the way along, and I want it on the covered pen, so I actually just don't want it lower down. So what I'm going to do is cut down it, fold this end around the covered pen to make that a secure corner, and I'm going to peel this back. Now, I should be using wire cutters. I actually have a pair of scissors that I use for cutting wire, and that's all I use them for. Because obviously now I've cut wire with them, they're not very sharp for using on anything else. I think this is going to make bedtimes more difficult because the turkeys can now more easily access getting on top of the covered pen. They're not going to be able to access this for long. Very soon they will be shut in the covered pen. But the grass over here is getting quite long, so they could just earn their keep, take the grass down a bit. My plan with this chicken wire is to reuse it elsewhere, so I'm hoping that I can pull it up from the ground where the clover has grown through it an awful lot without damaging it too much. Right then, boys, what do you think? You're going to come through and have a look? I've just tried to move it from that clover. That's pretty well stuck in there, so I think Mr. J will have to give me a hand cutting the grass below this, and so we can peel it back up. And before the chickens and turkeys spend too much time in here, I want to harvest my quinces so that they don't do it for me. Now, we've never had quince before. That one's gone mouldy, so I think the birds will be having that. Now, I know that you can't eat these raw; they need to be cooked, and I'm quite disappointed that they've got so much what looks like black spot actually. They've got quite a lot, but I'm going to peel this. I'm not going to eat it with the skin on it, so hopefully that'll be alright. And I'm also going to block this area off again. It was blocked off when when the chickens were allowed in this field. I kept it blocked off, and then I opened it up once I'd stopped the chickens coming in here. It's time to block it up again. And the reason for doing that is on this side of the fence is where I've got the last of our potato crop, and I need to lift that before I can let the chickens in here to scratch through all this area. The ground in this area is super springy underfoot, and that's because for the last 2 years I've been emptying the chicken bedding, the used chicken bedding, into this area. The chickens have been scratching through it and turning it over, and there's about a 6-inch, at least a 6-inch layer of chicken bedding, which obviously as the chickens have scratched through it, they've brought some soil up, the moles have done their thing, the worms have done their thing, so this area is great for growing things in. So I've still got the potatoes here. I need to lift some or possibly all of those, and I also need to clear some of the weeds that are here. Now I can do a fairly straightforward chop and drop. I might just form a heap maybe over there a little bit and create a compost pile, and then obviously I'll need to add some carbon, some brown materials into that, which I will have to go on a hunt for. But we've got wood chips, we've got sawdust, we've got cardboard, and we've got shredded paper, so I can add those in with all these weeds to start making a really nice compost heap. So I think my work for today is maybe to start clearing some of the weeds, and then if I get energetic enough I will lift some more potatoes. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up or leave a comment, or both, and if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. So it looks like Big White, his girls and the turkeys have very definitely found this patch of grass, and clover mostly. Hasn't been touched by a bird for a couple of months, so I think they're going to have a really nice day. I'm only doing a fairly rough clear of this ground because I think, I haven't absolutely set it in stone yet, but I think I'm probably going to cover this area with some weed suppressing membrane, make some holes in it, and then plant onion sets through those holes. But I don't particularly want all of this underneath, growing away underneath that weed suppressing membrane. After a little while it would kill it off, but I would rather try and get some of it up, which also means that the membrane will sit on the ground more flatly, more evenly. Apparently my use of English is not so good this morning. So I think just clearing some of it so that I can get the membrane down and it not have too many lumps and bumps in it would be a good idea. It's going to have some because this ground isn't perfectly even. I don't want to dig it over to get the roots out because I don't want to bring more weed seeds up to the surface to get more light and then germinate as well. But this soil is looking lovely. This is where I did the potato experiment this year with the different types of mulch. And this particular little spot is where the wood chip was. I'm very pleased. It does look great actually. So I'm going to carry on with this for a while. I don't think I'm going to get very far today. There are some jobs I need to do in the house. I need to carry on getting all those beans, the runner beans, out of their pods and getting them processed. I'm about a quarter of the way through those. But I just wanted to come out and do something outside for a little while. It's dry, it's quite nice out here this morning, and if it rains this afternoon I certainly won't want to be doing this then. Some of these thistles are really quite vicious, so I'm glad I got my thick gloves on. This is a pretty good start. I've only done about 15-20 minutes out here, but I'm going to go and get a cup of tea. I might go and get reinforcements. I might go and see if Mr. J feels up to giving me a hand with this. And several people have asked me recently if I have extra help out in the garden. The answer is no, I don't. I do pretty much all the gardening myself. Occasionally my friend Jane comes over and gives me a hand. And more recently Erica has been helping me with the kitchen courtyard, but basically I do it all myself. Mr. J helps me with carrying and moving things that I simply can't do on my own, that take two people or are just too heavy for me to do, and occasionally and hopefully today Mr. J will come out and just help clear weeds. Now he will use the weed whacker, which I can't use, so that's brilliant. I don't think we can weed whack this because I actually want to try and get some of the roots out if I can. I don't want to just scythe it off. I want to lift them and move them as much as possible. So anyway, I'm going to see if Mr. J is of a mind to come and help with a whole bunch of very prickly weeds. And so, wherever you are in the world and whatever you've got planned for today, I hope it's a good one. And I also hope you'll join me again tomorrow.